Good evening, Democrats. It's the 23rd day of October, and that just makes my head go crazy. I cannot believe that we're almost finished with October. It's been a busy year and still so much going on with the party, with candidates, with candidate recruitment, and we're going to be talking about that all in just a moment, as that is tonight's The Hamilton Report. One of the best things about doing this broadcast is that I get to introduce you to some of my friends, people whom I admire from so many different walks of life. As I look over the last few years that we've been doing the Hamilton Report, it's been so gratifying to see the people that we have visited with on this program, uh, people from all over the country who have joined us here, and it's just been so much fun. And I was looking forward to introducing you to another of my friends this evening, and that's Cal Hobson. Cal is inimitable. He is such a brightly tuned light when it comes to politics. He doesn't miss a beat. And I was really looking forward to presenting him to you tonight. Unfortunately, it looks as if we may have gotten our wires crossed. We confirmed yesterday, but he's not with us right now. So we're going to give him a few more minutes to see if he is, in fact, able to join us. There are a couple of things that I want to share with you. One is, and you already know this, there are like 157,000 people now running for the House of Representatives. All of those who are running are far from choice candidates. But I want to say a word about Hurd, Oklahoma's own congressperson. He is running because he says that he has been working the entire time he's been in Congress for the American people. The only thing he's done was he named a post office. That's the best you've got to offer, and you want to be the Speaker of the House? Now, granted, that's one thing more than Jim Jordan has ever done in Congress, but that does not position him well. He, like others in our state's delegation to Washington, are absolutely firmly set on taking away our earned benefits. And I'm stressing the word earned here because we have all paid into Social Security and Medicare. I started working when I was 14, and I've been paying into it just as long as everybody else. So to hear them talk about how this is, the worst budget drain, well, figure out something, folks, because people have put themselves into this, and so many people, especially here in Oklahoma, rely on Social Security just to exist. 1 in 5 people in Oklahoma without Social Security would have no place to live and nothing to eat. Now, that's a startling fact, but it's true. And this is nonsense for the entire right side of the aisle to be talking about things like taking away our Social Security. And then we've got Langford, who is a broken record on the southern U.S. border. He's full of the same old crap every day. His lies about terrorists coming through the open borders. Well, if he was really concerned about it, then you'd think that maybe he would have proposed legislation sometime since he's been in Congress to have affected that. But instead, he runs his mouth and blames the president. Well, I, for one, am extremely proud that President Biden is our president. When you consider the weight that has been on his shoulders for the last few weeks, it's immeasurable. And yet he's holding up under grace with absolute care for the people here, the people of Israel, the people of Gaza. He is not conflating the Palestinians in Gaza with a terrorist organization, and we shouldn't either. But I've been so proud of the work that he has done on our behalf. And this is all while putting our economy back together, dealing with the everyday challenges of being a president. It's funny, all of the time that the last president spent on the golf course or at Mar-a-Lago, Republicans didn't have a problem with any of that. When Bush went off to his ranch for sometimes weeks at a time, no one said anything about that. But when President Biden goes to his home in Delaware, 45 minutes from the White House, and takes a walk on the beach, then all of a sudden they're burning their wigs because they just can't stand the fact that this man is a real person and needs to recharge his batteries. But I can tell you something. There's a heck of a difference between a stroll on the beach and weeks on end at your golf resort that you own in another state. So thank you, President Biden. I am so proud of the way that you are handling things both here and abroad. Well, one of the challenges in Oklahoma, and we all know this, and that is, how do we remain hopeful in a time when it's pretty bleak? I mean, look, let's look at our governor. He is a do-nothing governor. All he does is stir up trouble and make fights with our tribal nations. And I should point this out. While he is fighting our tribes, the Cherokee Nation just raised its minimum wage to over twice that of what Oklahoma's minimum wage is. And they've done something else. For jobs where tips are included, like service in a restaurant, they have raised those wages as well. And as a result of these new wage increases, they have revamped the way that they're paying everyone on their payroll to reflect more income in individuals' pockets. That's leadership. That is contributing so greatly to life in this state. Imagine if we didn't have that kind of leadership. Well, thankfully we do, and I'm grateful for our tribal citizens. Speaking of which, this Wednesday, the Oklahoma Democratic Party is hosting a private screening of Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, not only are we going to have the theater to ourselves, but former Chief Gray is going to be speaking with us. He's the former Osage Nation chief, and he and his son, Henry Roan Gray, are also going to be with us that evening to talk about their experience with the film and also their experience as being Osage members here in Oklahoma. We still have tickets available, and they're only $20. So I hope that you will come out and spend an evening of fellowship with other Democrats as we learn the history that sadly cannot be taught in Oklahoma schools because our legislature doesn't want to hurt the sensitivities of white kids. Beats anything I've seen. We have a question from Shelley. Does the speaker have to be in Congress? I'm a Democrat and think former Governor Larry Hogan is a fair Republican. Just a thought. No, the answer is no, you don't. There is nothing in our Constitution that says you have to be in the House of Representatives. So I could throw my hat in the ring, I suppose. That's a job I would not have on a bet, but that is the answer. No, you do not have to be a sitting member of Congress to be elected to the House of Representatives. And when you think about that person being second in line to the presidency, that's a very scary thought. Imagine a Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert in that seat. I don't want to imagine that. I will have nightmares for the rest of the month if I do. But that I mentioned that we are. Here Carolyn has a question too. Doesn't the right side have family that benefits from Social Security? Why do they want them to suffer without Social Security? Carolyn, that's a great question. I know that our Hearn, for example, is a multimillionaire, received a tremendous forgiven loan out of PPP funds. Um, and so he doesn't need his Social Security. Well, I certainly do. And I would think that he also has to have family members or people that work for him or people in his neighborhood or at his church or somewhere that says, wait a minute, stop this. I need this to survive. And it just does not seem, um, it does not seem that they care. You asked the question, how do we get more Democrats to vote? Oklahoma has the worst voting record in the country. And what a shame that is. It's not just Democrats, it's Republicans, it's non affiliated voters. People just don't turn out to vote. And it's a simple equation, really, because if we did, we would win more elections. If Democrats said, yes, I am going to commit to vote, I am going to support a candidate, I'm going to talk to my friends about making a plan to vote, I promise you the outcomes could be so very, very different. So we have some time, not a lot, because there's a special election coming up in Lawton in December, and we will have a primary runoff and a special election in Edmond coming up soon as well. But next year is a all hands on deck year. And I mean that with absolute sincerity, because we need everyone's involvement next year, starting now, frankly, to start calling people, to start sending postcards to people, reminding them to vote, to phone bank with us. And these are not things that take a great deal of time. If you can share 1 hour a week to phone bank for a candidate, that's a great thing. So the answer is we just keep pushing harder. We keep doing our work. We keep showing up at the polls, and we keep letting everyone else know too. I want to emphasize the three things that the Oklahoma Democratic Party stands for. And I think that this is very important because our chair talks about this all the time. We talk about it internally a great deal, but sometimes I think we're not as clear. So I'm going to break it down when people say, well, what do Democrats believe? One, we believe in well-funded public education, not giving money to the Catholic Church or any other church for the purposes of a school, but well-funded public education. We believe that every Oklahoman is entitled to high-quality health care no matter where in the state they live. And we also believe in economic opportunity for all Oklahomans. That means having a job instead of 3 or 4 jobs just to cover the rent. That's what we believe. It's pretty simple. I think I shared on this broadcast that the chairman of the Oklahoma GOP said, I hope they go out there and tell people what they stand for, because they'll see that Oklahomans don't resonate with those kinds of values. Interesting. Public education, yeah, I think most Oklahomans do care about that. Affordable health care anywhere in the state, yeah, especially in rural communities whose hospitals are closing, have closed, or are in danger of closing. And finally, economic opportunity for all Oklahomans. How can you not believe in those things? And I need to say that those are the 3 pillars upon which we base everything else. Climate change, absolutely critical. A woman's right to make her own informed medical decisions, absolutely critical. The protection of LGBTQ plus Oklahomans, again, very important. But instead of talking about all of these things, we've narrowed it to 3, because within those 3, we can start to inform people, educate people, and let them know what we believe and why we are Democrats, what we care about. Janet says, I worked for many years as a nurse, 58 years of Social Security. I live near poverty level. I have to have my Social Security to live. My Social Security. Janet, I understand. I understand. You have to have it to live. And believe me, even the people who make the most money on Social Security is still near poverty level in Oklahoma. So this is not some kind of a handout. This is something that we have earned. Ryan, I'm delighted that you tuned in this evening. Ryan Skeffington is someone I'm going to introduce you to a little later on. He and I have had a meeting about his interest in running for office, and very, very smart, insightful man that I'm anxious to introduce to you as he makes his way forward in this process. And one of the questions that Shelley asked, how do we get more people to vote? Well, we get more Democrats to run. Sadly, there are too many seats that go unopposed by Democrats. And yes, I know it seems counterintuitive to say, why would I mount a race that there's no way in the world I can win? The answer is because it gives Democrats hope. It lets them see that they actually have a choice, that they can vote for someone other than the same person that's been there forever and ever, with the same old ideas, the same tired plaudits. They actually have a choice. And so if you are considering running for office, or you know someone that you think would be a good candidate for school board, for county commissioner, county clerk, for mayor, for any position locally, like I said, the school board is a great place to begin a career in politics. But if you're interested in running for the state house or Senate or U.S. House or Senate, these are all things that are open to everybody. And I hope that you will call the office and let us share with you what we can do to help you in this process. Tomorrow night, for example, we are offering free van training. People either know what van is or they don't. That's the Voter Action Network. And I can tell you that for people like me who are not data driven, at least that's not true. I am data driven. I'm just data boneheaded, I guess, is the way that you have to think of this. But the van training is tomorrow evening. It's absolutely free. And this is a great one for beginners, for candidates, for anyone who's going to be working with a candidate, and certainly for county leaders, because van is something that we use all the time in the party. So you can go and register. You have to register in advance. You'll be sent a link to the event, and so that's tomorrow evening. This is just another way that we are continuing to build, continuing to grow. We're listening. When we did our 2023 road trip to victory tour around Oklahoma, it wasn't just about the party being there to talk. It was about us being there to listen as well. So we understood some of the things that people are concerned about that maybe are a bit different than things in urban or suburban areas. And that was great because we've learned what kinds of trainings people want. We've learned what kinds of programming they need. And this is in response to what we're learning. And everything takes money, but we can do it and are doing it a little at a time. And that's what drives me every day, is knowing that we still have so much good that we can and are doing. I want to point out that I'm shifting gears again here. I'm sorry. But I want to point out that this weekend was the first weekend in I don't know how long that the superintendent of public instruction didn't do something really stupid online. But I didn't see it. Now, that's not to say it didn't happen, but I didn't see it. Now, they're having a big blowout barbecue for him at some church in Tulsa on Friday. If you look at the picture on their advertisement, it looks like they found the worst possible picture they could, looking really shabby, unironed clothes, holding a microphone in a very strange way. But yeah, the people are going to pay $50 to eat barbecue with this knucklehead. Well, friends, I've covered about everything I have for you tonight. It's I'm so sorry that Cal wasn't able to be with us. I hope that he will join us again soon, and I hope that he's well. I'm sure he is. But there is one more thing I want to share with you. Our state party at our convention this year voted to get rid of the rooster that you see every time you go to vote. There's a rooster under the Democratic ticket, and there's a long history behind that. But bottom line is, people said we want to get rid of the rooster, and we want a donkey. So we said, great. The only problem with that is we need a donkey. So we are opening up a contest to every public school student in the state to draw us a donkey. The winner of that contest will have their drawing appear on every ballot for a Democratic candidate. And I think this is really awesome. Also, the winner, we will meet with them at the Capitol, give them a certificate, and let the world know that they're creative and that they're young and that they matter in Oklahoma. So more information on that is on our Facebook page and on our website tomorrow. But just have you young folks draw their best kind of donkey, and then just email a JPEG of that donkey to scott@okdemocrats.org. Well, friends, I wish you a very, very happy week ahead. I know we're supposed to have some changes in the weather, so be weather aware. And obviously, we're all stocked up on sinus medicine with the allergies that everybody is experiencing right now. So do take care of yourself. I'm grateful that you tuned in this evening, and I hope that you will join us on Wednesday evening for Killers of the Flower Moon right here in Oklahoma City. okdemocrats.org/Flower Moon. From all of us, friends at the Oklahoma Democratic Party, I'm Scott J. Hamilton, thanking you for tuning in, and I'll see you next Monday evening at 6:30. Good night.